All right, we leave you tonight with, let's just say, an unlikely match. A match most certainly not one you would be thinking of. Now listen, regular Banfield viewers know that Ashley has been following the exploits of a supposedly possessed Raggedy Ann doll named Annabelle. You know about this one. She's the real-life inspiration for the Conjuring horror films. And off-screen, oh boy, she has been blamed for everything, from a jailbreak to a plantation fire, to the sudden death of her handler on a cross-country tour. Yeah, and by the way, that was just this summer. But now, Annabelle has a new legal guardian, and it is this guy. You might know who he is, a TikTok comedian named Matt Rife. So, Rife announced on Friday that he and a friend essentially lease not just Annabelle, but the entire contents of a house/museum founded by the occult researchers Ed and Lorraine Warren out in Connecticut. Now, Rife also leased the building itself, which has been closed since 2019. Plans to reopen it for tours and overnight stays. He described the deal as super random, definitely is that, but also, and I quote, "so effing cool, man." No comment from Annabelle, but as Ash would say, Matt Rife, maybe watch your six, something to be thinking about.
So Matt Rife and Elton Castee are the new owners of the Annabelle doll. And the internet hasn't been really reacting kindly to this news. Now, you guys already know how I feel about this. I'm not really familiar with who Elton Castee is. I know of Matt Rife. I think he's a funny dude. I have no problem with these guys. I'm just concerned because I don't think that the Annabelle doll has been really... I don't feel like people have been taking this doll seriously lately, especially with that tour that was going on. And of course, Annabelle's handler just died like 2 weeks ago. So my only concern is I don't want anyone getting hurt. I don't want anyone being negatively impacted by this doll, including Matt Rife. And I've seen a lot of his fans speaking out. They're worried that something may happen to him. And some people are already suspecting that Matt's moods have been altered somehow by this doll, that Matt is already acting negatively because of this doll, that he has somehow been spiritually affected, or like just his mood, he's been in a bad mood since buying the doll. I don't know what. I'm just looking at the reactions online because Matt Rife actually tweeted something, or he posted something on X and quickly deleted it. I guess he was getting backlash. I wasn't able to read all of the comments, but I was able to see the post before it was taken down. Here's what he had to say. And this is in quotations. "He has no idea what he's done." Basically referring to what people are saying about Matt Rife buying this doll. He goes on to say, "Yeah, I bought one of the most haunted things in the world, and I haven't done any research. And people who get their news from talking head TikToks are more informed. The internet really shows you just how many people are complete dipshits." Now, I don't know why he quickly deleted this post. I'm guessing he was getting a lot of pushback. Like I said, I like Matt. I think he's a funny guy. Maybe there was a little lack of self-awareness here, because I wouldn't describe Matt as a TikTok comedian, but other people would. Like you saw at the beginning of this video, the news called him a TikTok comedian. I know he's out here selling out shows. I think he sold out Madison Square Garden. So I don't think of him as a TikTok comedian, but other people do. A lot of people know who he is, and they know who Elton Castee is from TikTok. They put out a lot of TikTok-y content. So to come out here and be like, oh, you get your news from TikTok talking heads, I don't know. It's kind of, you know what I mean? There's a little bit of a lack of self-awareness there. Because at the end of the day, people know you as a comedian. And people are wondering, why in the hell is this comedian the new owner of one of the most haunted objects on Earth? It's not like people know you primarily from paranormal investigations. It's not like our paranormal investigating was really your thing that people knew you for. You know what I mean? That wasn't your main thing. I didn't know that Matt Rife was into paranormal stuff until this announcement came in the other day. I'm sure a lot of people felt the same way. So, of course, as people are still processing the news about Annabelle's handler dying a couple of weeks ago, people are kind of caught off guard when they hear that a comedian just bought the doll. And of course, people aren't going to think that this comedian is the leading expert on paranormal stuff. So, I understand people's problems. I understand why people are kind of shocked right now. But at the same time, I'm not coming down on Matt in the way I've seen other people do. And I have mixed feelings about this situation overall. I think that Ed and Lorraine Warren's legacy needs to be carried on. I think their stories need to be told. I'm just worried about people getting too close to this doll and what could happen to them because of what just happened to Dan Rivera. But some people are saying that they believe that this doll chose Matt. And other people are suggesting that there's been something weird going on, like some sort of spiritual battle that Annabelle's previous owners were aware of, and that they're kind of trying to dump off the doll and dump off this home and museum on someone else because there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. And look, I don't know what to believe when it comes to this stuff. I'm just letting you guys know the conversations that are being had within the paranormal community and stuff. In fact, instead of trying to explain to you all, let me go ahead and show you a few examples of what I'm talking about, and then I'll be right back with more thoughts.
I don't know if you've seen this in the news or not, but comedian Matt Rife has bought the Warrens Occult Museum. And now he owns everything in there, including the Annabelle doll. Now, I don't know about you, but this is insane. Because you have to understand, he didn't choose to buy that place. He didn't choose to own that doll. That doll chose him. This is all part of its plan. It wants to get out, and now it is being given access to basically wreak havoc. And you have someone who has no idea what he's doing. Nothing, doesn't know anything about the paranormal, and doesn't understand the powers he's messing with. And I've seen these things go very, very wrong. And this could get really, really bad. Because basically, it's like giving someone who never flown a plane before full access to the controls. Because anything could happen. And I suspect you're going to see in the next couple of weeks, this thing will go missing again. And I think that something is at work here. I think this was all in play so that it could get to the right people to allow it to get out. I don't know. I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Rife didn't just buy a haunted house. He may have infiltrated a war between light and darkness. This skilled comedian just bought the legendary Conjuring Warren Occult House. Yes, the one that houses Annabelle. This is the real Annabelle. And this is the real house. Demonically possessed doll that is so dangerous, it has to be blessed daily by a priest. Linked to decades of accidents, illnesses, injuries. But here's what nobody is talking about. Rife was not the highest bidder. He moved fast to intercept the sale of a secretive, mysterious, unnamed buyer that's supposedly connected to some unknown groups. So why would the family accept a lower bid for this very dangerous house and all of its contents? Why would a young comic just jump into this supernatural battleground? Sources say that Matt believed the spiritual protections around these artifacts was weakening, and maybe someone intended to weaponize them. Now Matt is a gatekeeper for the darkest objects ever studied, items too dangerous for public hands. One thing's for sure, if Matt hadn't stepped in, someone else would have.
Look, folks, I try to explain this in every video. Let me go ahead and try to explain this again really quickly, because a lot of people don't understand. I'm not trying to, when I make these videos, I'm not trying to tell you what to believe. I'm not telling you that you should buy into all of this stuff, right? But if you're someone that believes in the legend of Annabelle, if you believe in these things, then you can't quickly dismiss the danger that Annabelle poses. And that's what I keep seeing all around the board. It's like, yeah, we want you to buy into Annabelle. We want you to buy into all of these stories. We want you to believe this doll is haunted and this doll is dangerous. We want you to buy tickets to the tour. We want you to pay to spend the weekend with Annabelle. We want you to believe. But we don't want you to question anything. And if you suggest that this doll may be responsible for Dan Rivera's death, you're crazy. That's outlandish. If you suggest that Annabelle's new owners may be in danger, that's outlandish. You're taking things too far. And that's where my main problem is. That's where, or at least one of my main problems. That's one of my main issues here. My main number one issue is I don't want anyone getting hurt or affected by the doll. My second issue is the same people that want us to take this doll very seriously. At the same time, they want us to just throw all caution to the wind when it comes to them handling the doll, taking the doll on tour, opening up the doll to bed and breakfast, spend the weekend with Annabelle. And I want to be clear, I'm not trying to crap on any of this because, as I've explained before, it sounds cool, it sounds interesting. I'm sure I'll tune into the YouTube videos for people who go and stay with the Annabelle doll. And I guess that's probably what they want us to do anyway, right? But at the same time, I feel like they want us to take this doll so seriously, but then they turn around and they don't take it seriously themselves. And when you get worried or you present the idea of the dangers this doll could pose, oh no, there's nothing to worry about there. Let me tell you these stories about all of these people who died and were affected by Annabelle. Hey, but couldn't you be affected by Annabelle? No, what are you, crazy? You thought Dan Rivera was affected by Annabelle? Are you crazy? Now listen to these other half a dozen stories about people who died after coming in contact with Annabelle. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know. Now, is there really a spiritual battle going on and they dumped this doll off on Matt Rife? I don't really think that's the case. Did Annabelle choose Matt Rife? I don't necessarily think that's the case, but what I do think is, and I've explained this before, I do think that Annabelle, if all of this stuff is real, or even if a portion of it is real, I don't think it's far-fetched to believe that Annabelle has more power now than ever. Annabelle is more popular right now than ever. Annabelle is on the nightly news. We're discussing Annabelle. One of the top comedians just purchased Annabelle. There's so much energy going towards Annabelle. And whatever's attached to Annabelle could be feeding off of that energy. And if you believe in the Annabelle stories, then you believe that Annabelle was a very powerful force, even when only exposed to a couple of people in a home, isolated. Now Annabelle is all around America. In many ways, people are mocking Annabelle, blowing her kisses, shooting her the finger, taking photos with her, dancing next to her. A literal comedian known for telling jokes just purchased her. And there's all of this attention, all of this energy going towards this object that very well could be becoming more powerful than ever. And the spree is only going to continue. Because now, more and more people are going to be coming and spending the night with Annabelle. There's going to be videos all over the place. There's going to be news stories about people who were affected by Annabelle. And it's like the warning, the original warning, is just out of the window now. It's out of the window. So we'll see how this plays out. I hope everyone is going to be okay. I'm not confident that they will be. You let me know what you think, though, down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.